Are you selling from the wrong place in your human design? Or are you selling the wrong thing entirely according to your human design? That might be the better question. And that's what we're diving into today. Now, this episode of Unjaded is a follow-up to last week's episode. You don't have to have heard last week's episode, but if you didn't, and I mentioned some things that you need context for, you might want to go back to that. I'm really going to try not to leave anyone behind, but just in case I get going kind of crazy here. And the premise of this episode is very, very simple. And that is that most entrepreneurs, especially in the human design space, are pulling their sales and their offers from the wrong places. Now, if you're not in the human design space, you get a pass because you don't know this stuff. But I feel like in the human design space, we have enough information that we should be kind of making the switch by now. So this, again, is taken from a reading that I did that turned into kind of a business strategy session when we were looking at this entrepreneur's offers and launches and the launch not converting the way that it should or could based on the numbers that she had in there. I went through the tweaks that I suggested in last week's episode, and they will be valuable for you if you are an entrepreneur who is launching and feeling like you're not converting like you should or could. Because there are two very common mistakes or pitfalls that people make when they're launching. I've done them too. And I'm going over those in that episode last week. That's episode 218 of Unjaded. So this entrepreneur that I was working with, she knows a fair bit about human design. And it almost makes it harder when people know more about human design because they argue for the limitation, which kind of drives me crazy. And I work with a ton of human design practitioners, so I love this field. And also, there's so much of people wanting to say, well, yeah, I am this, so I'm this. I'm a manifesting generator, so that. I'm a 2644 channel, which is one of the things we're going to be walking through today, so I'm this. So in this particular case, this person, as I said in last week's episode, she has a defined will. She's a 4-1 emotional manifesting generator. She has a defined will center, and she has the 2644 channel defined. Now, I don't have her chart in front of me right now. I just have little notes that I made after the reading. So she has the 3420. I know that. So we know that her sacral is running on that 3420 all the time. Powerful response right now. Powerful response right now. It's charisma. It's power. It's in the moment. It's alive. We know that's how she operates. And she has, what did she have for her? She had the 4037 for her emotional wave. So that's another important channel for her. All channels are important, but that's another important channel. This person with the definition, now I'm seeing the chart come to life in my head. She has quite a bit of tribal energy in her design. So if you know human design, just kind of like sit back for a minute and let this wash over you. We know that we have a 4-1, super foundational. We know from last week's episode that she has 3 left-facing arrows, very structured, designed to be very structured, to have a lot of structure in her life. I know that she's tribal. A lot of the energies in her design were tribal. She has the 4037. She has the 5027. She's designed to hold her people like nobody's business. She has a 2644, which is also tribal. So she holds her people. They feel very held. And what she is trying to do is selling. She's trying to, because the 2644 is the energy of, in slang, the used car salesman. It's all about integrity in sales. It's about seeing patterns of the past not repeating. It's where you can negotiate just about anything with this channel in a way that people feel like they're winning on all sides of the thing. It's salesman energy. So because she has this energy, she's trying to sell sales, and something is off. And from a human design perspective, last week we looked at from a regular world perspective. This week we're looking at the human design perspective. From a human design perspective, I would say that people experience that energy from her. People lean in. Remember that all of the areas that are defined in your human design, colored in, are who you are. You cannot get away from yourself there. You're broadcasting that out into the field all of the time. So she doesn't have to talk about sales. It's who she is as she moves through life. She doesn't have to talk about confidence with her defined will center. That's who she is as she moves through life. People will sidle up next to her to feel the confidence, to have it rub off on them. So she's talking in her messaging about confidently making sales. Wrong message, entirely wrong message. So I'm not going to go through all of the pieces of her design that she can pull from her messaging, because for that, you got to get into content by design and come play with us in there. But we will go through a couple of things. The most prominent things that I saw relating to her existing client base, the work she does, the membership she runs, the way she wants to work, all of those things. She has a hanging gate 16 and a hanging gate 54. Immediately, that tells me that her people are driven and ambitious, but they are afraid of failure and that they struggle with imposter syndrome and a feeling of inadequacy. I also know that she has dormant gates 63 and 64 and 24. Sorry, I had to check my notes again. There's a lot going on in this person's head, which tells me that her people need to get to the bottom of things to relieve their doubt and confusion. They crave certainty. Now, did you hear me say anywhere in there that they needed to be more confident or that they want to be more confident? That they want to make more sales, that they want to be better at selling? No, because she's not selling the ability to sell. She's selling the ability to step out of imposter syndrome. She's selling the ability to walk away from your fear of failure. She's selling the ability to feel certain in what you do, to know that you know that you know what you do does good work on the planet, that it removes all doubt and confusion. Doesn't that sound like a confident person who would have all those things? Of course. And so many times as entrepreneurs, human design or not, we walk around talking about this thing that doesn't mean anything to people. Self-love is my favorite one to pick on. Self-love, confidence, these types of things. They're the result of the work that you do maybe, but they're not what people are hiring you for. People are hiring you for what that is going to give them. What is on the other side of loving myself? What is on the other side of feeling confident? What is on the other side of me showing up as myself fully and trusting myself in a sales conversation? That's what people are buying. And that message comes from the openness in your human design, not from your definition. Because for your whole life, your little spidey senses have been out on those hanging gates, on those dormant gates, on those undefined centers. All of that openness is drawing all of these lessons, and it is pulling others to you who complete that within you. And they need to hear from that openness. So stop banging on about your defined sacral or your defined will or your defined throat or your 1/8 channel or whatever. People are going to get that from you. People are going to get your definition from you when they are in aura with you because you cannot escape it. That's what you're broadcasting. Lean into your openness to sell more things in your business.